Here we are. Hello, hello. Ooh, there we go. Also hit this Facebook, but hello, welcome to Co-Play Wednesday here with VZ Spaces. Excuse my dental situation at the moment. Um, yeah, and that's all I'll say about that. Um, Shout out to Healing Conversations Podcast. Shout out to Healing Conversations Podcast. If you're on Facebook, I posted it on my VZ Spaces page. I also shared on my personal, professional page now because Facebook has switched personal pages to professional pages, and that just is what it is. One of the reasons I'm transitioning to YouTube. So if you are on Facebook, join me live on YouTube. Because I'm transitioning out of the Facebook things. But shout out to Healing Conversations podcast, launched today. First episode is about practice. Raymel and I are sharing our stories about how we got to the space of being able to have healing conversations where we have been able to expand our practice and expand ourselves. So that is launched today. Super excited about it. I will be posting about it in my stories on Instagram. So make sure you check that out. We got it on YouTube. We got it on Apple Music. We got it on Spotify. I think it's on Google Music or podcasts or whatever. Some of those platforms that get broadcasted to through things like Anchor and all the podcast distribution things. So you should be able to find it anywhere you are. And if you would like to see us, you can check it out on YouTube at VZ Spaces on YouTube. So, yeah, and that's where we are here right now, having the Co-Play Wednesday. So, if you are here on this channel right now, definitely go check out Healing Conversations when you get the chance so that you can tap into these really juicy, rich conversations that Brother Ray Mel and I have been having. This first season is going to have 12 episodes. So for the next 12 weeks on Wednesdays, you will be getting this goodness. And we really would like to get your feedback, hear your insights. Let us know how the tools and tips that we share are supporting you on your journey. You can message us, you can email us, you can, if you have an address, mail us a letter. I love getting stuff in the mail. I also love sending mail. So reach out any way that you feel most aligned with and let us know how this conversation, this podcast is impacting you. So, yeah, today for my co play, I am going to be working on getting that distributed and doing some more clips. So that is what I'm working on today. I'm gonna get my headphones um, so that I can navigate this without giving away all the goodies. Um, and yeah, I created this space um, as a point of community accountability. And the reason that I called it co-play, hold on, there we go. And the reason that I call it co-play is that I believe that our lives are here to be fun and feel the joy, and that even in our work, in our service, in our offering, in our contribution, that we should have fun. It should be fun. We should be in joy. We should have some pleasure. Yes, there will be contrast and what I call crunchiness. Um, yes, there will be challenges. These things are often like a puzzle. Is that Sheila? Hey, Sheila. Um, like life comes with obstacles. But just like an obstacle course is a fun activity for many people, we chose to come here as divine spirit to enjoy this obstacle course called Earth. So here we are. So today we are co playing, today we are co creating. So, whatever you are holding yourself accountable to create today, to serve today, to honor your body today, I am holding this space for all of us. Um, Also, big old shout out to all of the individuals who have been so generous during this time, and supported Darren and I with getting our reservations together for Ghana. Um, I cannot explain to you how powerful this experience has been. And please know that every single cent that has been put in has been blessed. And I truly believe that money is energy. And when we give thanks to our money, when we allow it to be an extension of our good and we recognize it as a beautiful servant to and for us, um, that it amplifies our magnetism for prosperity, for abundance, for wealth, for more generation of money and generosity. So every dollar, every cent that has been sent in is blessed and is going towards this beautiful journey. This this absolutely glorious opportunity to travel and to connect and to grow spiritually, creatively, just in all the ways. So I cannot thank you all enough. I really cannot. So yeah, thank you all for your support with that. We are planning on doing like a screening event, and we will be seeing if anybody else wants, if you want to continue to support with that. But that, that's going to be like October, September, after we get back from Ghana and do all the post production on our short films. So yeah, we're still open up to the generosity, to the circulation, and I just could have never imagined this. And I don't want to get too emotional because I do want to get into my work that I'm doing today. But just I'm just going to allow myself to have this moment because no one could have ever told me that I would be having this opportunity, one, and two, that I would be embraced in this way and supported in this way, especially when we are in a season where the external narrative is like lack and struggle and not enoughness, right? Where people are in their practice, in their generosity, in their confidence and enthusiasm enough to be generous, even while the world is trying to say that there is not enough. There is enough. There is more than enough. There's abundance. There's overflow. And I'm just so grateful. I'm just so deeply grateful that we have experienced this prosperity exercise together. I'll put it that way. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And also Sheila was one of the people who contributed. So thank you so much. She says, you have an amazing voice for others already. You are a force for good. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. I really do my best. I'm going to get kind of working on things while I'm talking because I really do want to get some stuff done today. um, but I posted something on my stories yesterday, and it was this video from Napoleon Dynamite. That movie, if you don't know, it's just like this weirdly quirky indie movie, basically about this guy in high school, and he's like a nerd, but then he has his quirky adventures and things. It's a pretty funny movie, from what I remember. It's been a couple years, but anyway, it's a clip from that movie where he's on stage and he's just doing all these like crazy dance moves and this like if I remember correctly from the film, it was like a very awkward moment. But the point of the reel, this clip that was made, was that I wish I could pull it up, but I'm not. But the point of it was that this is a point of view of me living my life out loud so that others know that they can live their life out loud, so that other people know that they can be weird, that life is awkward sometimes, but it's okay to be your authentic self. It's okay to be who you are. If it's not, perfectly choreographed and like smooth like Michael Jackson, that's okay. Not Let me tell you the tea, nobody's life is like that. All the stuff we see on social media where people are just perfectly polished and their family is like cohesive and matching outfits and their house is pristine and they have these fabulous cars and they're only talking about high vibrations and positive energy. Life is not like that, y'all. And one of the things I feel called to do and be in this life is authentic. Do myself authentically as possible, out loud as possible. There are things that I keep to myself, there are experiences that I allow myself to process first before sharing, because I've learned that some things are not meant to be shared until they're processed. So I, have picked up that discernment. um, and I'm grateful that I have, because it gives me greater courage when I do speak and share my story. When I do have the courage to show up here when my veneer, my crown fell out, and I'm just giving it that time to be and sit for a moment. Um, and just know that I am perfect, whole, and complete, that there isn't anything that I need to fix about myself. I don't need to hide. I don't need to pretend. And the more that we do that, we allow others to know that that is a possibility for them as well. And that this narrative that is being shared, um, that we have to be perfect, be polished, be, directly in step with everything else all the time. We have to follow all the rules. We have to be in this box. Otherwise, we'll be outcasts, right? I really want to crush that. let me rephrase that. that wording is a little aggressive. Um, I want to allow that to dissolve, because it's honestly not even real in the first place. And I know that it's only become the norm because people have become afraid of being their authentic self. So, yeah, I'm really grateful that I get to live my life out loud and that I've chosen this path and that spirit has chosen to be me. And that I'm grateful for community as well, because I didn't always have this certain confidence about myself, that I could be authentic, that I could share my story, um, that what I did impacted other people. You feel me? That I could help others make transformation. That's actually a paradigm that I had to unpack, was that uh, I don't have the power to impact people's lives or to support them with making a change or, anything. I didn't think I was impactful as the youngest sibling, because it's only the two of us. As the youngest sibling, um, we tend to be infantilized and overlooked, and our voice doesn't get a lot of attention. Our ideas don't get a lot of attention. Um, and so I had this feeling tone of my voice doesn't matter. What I say doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter how I help people. Um, like I just have to sit. I'm the one that's meant to sit and listen and observe. I'm not the one to teach and support and guide. Um, and I'm grateful that I was able to work through, honestly, still processing that a little bit. um, but I'm grateful that I am now more able to take that on and to really live in and from that space, uh, because beautiful people like Sheila remind me that I am meant to be doing this. That's a part of me living out loud. Um, so yeah, that's just my little tangent there. um, we were listening to The Strangest Secret in the World last time. I just remembered. Um, so let me see if I can get that pulled up again while we are here, because that is some goody good goodness. Oh, I remember last time I had it on my phone because I was doing it on the computer, so that's how I was able to do it. But where did I guess that's not where I am right now, because I don't want to try to figure out if this YouTube thing can do that right now. So yeah, Strangest Secret in the World. If you have not heard of it, definitely check it out by Earl Nightingale. Um, it's a beautiful opening uh, of consciousness. In it, he talks about essentially, spoiler alert, the strangest secret is that we become what we think about. And I know many people who I am associated with now, or like who are part of my community, um, they're aware of that concept. It's the New Thought movement is all about the new thought. It's all about our mind and our thoughts, creating our reality and becoming master of our thoughts. And maybe not so much master of our thoughts, but the delegation of the thoughts, and the planting and the nurturing of the thoughts, um, that is important, because the thoughts just come. The thoughts just come. They're floating out in the atmosphere, and our minds are receptive antennae, and they're just bringing things in. And that's when we get to decide from our internal control panel: do I want to keep this thought? Do I want to keep uh, building this thought into my consciousness, into my awareness, or do I want to just let that pass? But that is the strangest secret, is that we become what we think about. So it's important to be mindful of what we are thinking about. But it's available on YouTube. It may also be like an audio lecture available at the library, but I have not actually checked it in on that. So um, if you do happen to find it on um, the library stuff side of things, absolutely let me know and check that out. I love that the library has audiobooks. Like when I found that out, I was like, okay, library. We're moving into the 21st century, uh, because it's beautiful to be able to have those resources available, um, like that for free. Libraries are a beautiful thing, y'all. Um, and I keep them in my prayers for sure. Let's see. Sheila said, ooh, don't do that. Sheila said, thank you. That reminds me of my daughter. She is studying to be a pediatrician. She has an older sister that's more out in front, but Cora has the best observations from me as I've gone through the last year. Mm. Yes, Sheila, find it on YouTube. The Strangest Secret in the World. And the one that I was playing last week has music behind it, and it's one of my favorites because the music kind of desensitizes the filters that we have and allows it to really sink in. So, highly recommend. There's also one, and there's a few. So there's one where he is like a younger dude, and you can tell from his voice that it's one of the earlier versions of when he was doing this work. And then there's someone you can tell he's a bit more mature, and his language does shift a bit between the two. However, the message is still consistent. And what I love about the one that is him more mature, um, he, I think in the first one, it's more like men focused. Um, but then in the later one, he kind of opens the language to include women as well. And I appreciate that because it shows his growth and awareness of, you know, women in society. Um, I've been learning some things recently, hearing some things, if not fully retaining them, um, about the history of women that I just really was not aware of because they don't talk about these things. But they have really shaped reality and how women are perceived in society, such as when a woman became, because we are past this, um, when she was married, that she just like no longer existed. She was just like dissolved into her husband, essentially. You know, this is why women couldn't have bank accounts, couldn't get property, couldn't, you know, basically walk down the street by themselves because they were non-existent, essentially. And the content that I saw around that was basically saying that um, this is what many of our grandmothers and for some of our younger audience, great grandmothers um, had to deal with. This is the marriage that they are technically still in because they got married back in the day, and that is what their mindset was. That was what the society was, and now what they were navigating. And so that residue is still with us. And I found that so interesting because why wouldn't we talk about that? We talk so much about, listen, I'm kind of yapping today because I'm on one. Usually, this is a very like quiet time. I'm kind of on one today, and I'll just wrap up this point because I'm on here. But we talk so much about relationships and marriage and having babies and reproduction and all of the things, you know, but we aren't really talking about how we have needed to shift that as women um, have become human beings with individual lives. Wow. Um, and how important it is to recognize where we came from. There's this term called Sankofa. It's a word, I forgot the nation of origin for it. It's not Yoruba, and I don't think it's Swahili either. I'll digress from that. However, it's Sankofa. It's a term that means looking backward to move forward, and it's like this a whole encompassing of experience and learning so that we can progress with greater knowledge and understanding. And I think that's so important for life in general. And something I feel should be more implemented in our society today. And I know that is technically like an African thing, but um, listen, there's a lot of African people that were brought over here, so maybe we can take that on. Um, but yeah, I'll get off that little rant. I'm gonna tap into some of this work. Let me know what you're working on, and yeah, I'm rooting for you. And definitely look out for these clips. Oh, I'm glad the sound got better. I didn't realize that it was having an issue. Yeah. Mm, this is what I was doing. See, I'm switching things up, and so I'm trying new things. But I remember last time I had this here. So this is what I'm working on. Healing podcast conversations. Um, I guess I can put this here, maybe. I guess I'll just do it this way. Shiva says, I was doing some family history lineage back to North Carolina, and the Cherokee women were my Materi. Is that how you say that? They were Materi lineage. Maybe that's where my queen status came from. I'm still remembering my great 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 grandmother. Mm. I also heard something recently, Shayla, about yeah, I think the sound was getting disrupted because the fan for my laptop is right here and I was sitting my phone right there. So I think that may have been what it is, or was, I should say. Um, I was coming across something, women led property went through the women. Yeah. Um, I was learning that many of the native nations were matriarchies, um, and not diplomatic, democratic matriarchs. Um, and when the founding father people came in, uh, they came from a monarchy. So the idea of a democracy was shown to them via the natives. Like, yes, the Greeks and those types of folks, there was some sort of idea of democracy, but it was not the same as where we are now. But when I was watching this video, um, it was very clear, like, the women were like the community leaders, and they were the people who spoke to the community, got the concerns, came together as the leaders, and made decisions, and then went to the chiefs, who were typically men, and told them what the community needed and told them what they should be discussing with the other chiefs from the other nations, who are also getting information about the needs of the community fed to them by these matriarchal leaders. And that if the chief did anything that the matriarchs did not condone or ask for them to do, those chiefs could be replaced easily. Because the women's were the leaders and the chiefs were like the communicators between the other nations, you know. So um, I was really profoundly shook by that, um, because that is basically what our system's supposed to be, right? Like we have community leaders who hear what the people are saying directly, who hear the shop owners, who hear the teachers, who hear the, excuse me, who hear the children. They hear people, and then they decide, okay, this is what the people want. This is what the community wants. And then we're going to communicate with the other local communities to make sure that we can all live in harmony, that we can trade resources, that we can support each other as we're all here sharing this land, because nobody really owns the land. We're just all here. Um, and I think that's really powerful. And that's something that we should get back to, instead of all of these borders and rules and trying to send people out and close people out. Just really being more communicative and having that be led by women, I think is really powerful, because women do tend to be more communicative, whereas men are more like forceful, aggressive. mm. So Sheila says, she meant to say matriarchies. They tried to destroy that with the Indian schools. And it affect the women the most. Yeah, imagine, and I'm wrapping up here. Imagine, I'm gonna pause this so I can really just have this conversation real quick. I appreciate you, Sheila. Imagine you are living in a community, things are flowing, you have the structure, women are treated and seen as equal, powerful people, right? And I'm still talking to you too, you two. Sheila and I are having a moment right now. And then these white men, European men, people, alien men, come on over with their boots and their horses and their weapons. And they're like, you're doing things incorrectly. I like what you're doing. Part of me is interested. I like the way that your system is set up. I like that you're abundant and prosperous and thriving here and having life. But you're doing it wrong. This isn't what I'm used to. And also, I like what you have so much, I'm going to take it. And in that, I'm going to be the one in power. And I can't have any of these young women, any of these young men, any of these people thinking that the power is with them because I want to be the one in power. And so I'm going to teach these young people that women don't deserve respect. I'm going to teach these people that women are just not human beings, period. How much of a, that's such a brainwashing. I was going to say another word, but I won't. How much of a brainwashing is that? How confusing is that to literally have your whole society turned upside down, and for generation after generation now we are living on these reservations, getting scraps, getting pushed to the wayside, and our whole social structure is dismantled. And that dismantling has led many of us into addictions, into abuse, um, just into dysfunction. And we're just being told, well, this is the way your life has to be now, because this is the way society should be, because y'all were doing it wrong. How much of a, I'm gonna say it, mind fuck, because I really feel like that's the only way to describe it. How much of a mind fuck is that? Where your societies, and I'm not saying things were perfect, I'm not saying it was heaven on earth and there weren't any confrontations. Native tribes definitely had wars and things of that nature, disagreements, right? But to have somebody who doesn't know the land, doesn't know the people, doesn't know the history, come in and tell you that what you're doing is completely wrong and you need to do it this way, or I'm going to murder you and everyone you love. And then for generations after that, be conditioned into this hyper masculine, confrontational energy, and to also be mistreated and thrown to the wayside and disrespected and basically captive in these reservations. I'm not going to go on that tangent, but yeah, that's hitting me right now, and I feel like that's a really interesting. I feel like it's a really interesting part of our history as Americans, because we are all here now, right? In what we are in now. Um, I think it's a very interesting part of our history that could use some more unpacking. Because again, like I said, looking back to look forward can be really beneficial. And I do believe that what we are experiencing now is the disintegration of the current standards and the way things are put together. Um, and perhaps that will create the fertile soil for women leadership to come into play again. But yeah, I'll pause that there. Did quite a bit of yapping today. um, so I got a clip or two. You feel me? But there are some clips available for the Healing Conversations podcast already available on my YouTube channel at VZ Spaces, available on Instagram at VZ Spaces, and the podcast episode 1 is available now on YouTube and streaming platforms. So definitely go check that out. Um, I'm grateful that you all are sharing the space with me today. I will continue to hold the space. And at some point, I would love to do it in person, you feel me? And find like a place where we can come together to really hold ourselves accountable. I know a lot of people are doing the digital remote thing these days. So this is really just an opportunity to hold each other with love and accountability. So many ways. Maybe there's a way for me to document my trip to North Carolina. Yes, absolutely. Listen, just whip out your phone. Whip out your phone and um, whatever, or if you do have like a little camera or something, whip it out and just do like a frontal sharing your experience and capture what's around you. If you do any research or talk to some people about the history, absolutely. I think that would be beautiful. She says, so sad that in some census data, it's just said Cherokee woman. Her name isn't even mentioned. I had to dig back further to find it. Sheila. Ooh. Mm. I'm holding space for that. I am holding space for that. People's whole identities, beings, existence, just uniqueness, individuality overlooked for the name and the sake of conquering land and wealth and riches and resources and money. Just completely an attempt to completely wipe people out in every way, shape, and form, even if not physically, biologically, massacring and slaughtering everyone, because, clearly they didn't get everyone, right? Um, but to also just not give any concern to actually registering someone's name and that they existed. Holding space for that. And yes, The Strangest Secret in the World, Earl Nightingale, Shayla. Um, that is the name. And next week, we will continue the second half of that. I apologize that today I did not get on that. Been navigating a few things. This week is crazy busy. So we had the podcast launch today. We're wrapping up the fundraising. Again, if you still would like to contribute something for the Ghana fundraiser, we still have space for that. I know some people are waiting because Friday, you can still contribute, and we'll allocate that towards the post production stuff. And then tomorrow is Juneteenth. I'm going to be at an event all day. I've also been planning that for the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. And then Friday, I have a field trip that I'm going on. And then Saturday is Sacred Service Saturday. Exactly, Sheila. I think the Nightingale is like spelled a little bit differently, but you're right on it. And then, YouTube autocorrect will support you with that. um, but yeah, this week is just packed with energy. Um, so yeah, I didn't have all of my things structured and in place today, but I still showed up because that's really the point, is to show up and be present and hold space and let you know that your life is here to be expressed and to play and to do the things that you want to do. So this is an opportunity to be accountable to you and to the greatness that is within you, and that is wanting to come forth as you. So yeah, we did that thing. Thumbs up, fist bump, high five. Everybody, good job. I go live on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific time for our uh, co-pay Wednesdays. That's what we're calling it. So yeah, and it's usually like in half an hour, 45 minutes, depending. And once I get a more space in my schedule, I will extend it to about an hour. Um, what is the podcast? Oh, yes. So I have a friend named Raymel Bentley, and we have been on this healing journey together since 2019. Last year, we started an Instagram live series called Healing Conversations, and it has benefited quite a few people. um, we've seen a nice little handful of people have some personal breakthroughs, and it's been really marvelous. So we decided to put it in a podcast form so that it can be concise and captured and replayable and note takeable. So that is available on YouTube. It's called Healing Conversations Podcast, with Raymel Bentley and Angelique. Excuse me. So yeah, if you'd like to check that out, I did put a link on my Facebook, and I am also putting a link on my Instagram. And yeah, that's what that is. And I would let me know what you think about it. If you do happen to listen, today was the first day. So the first episode got launched today. It's about practice, like personal practice, spiritual practice, and really what it means to be in action on what you say you want to do, and the steps that it takes to transform your life. And every episode includes tools and tips at the end, that you can take away and practice during the week. And we do definitely encourage you to let us know if you took on any of those practices, what came up for you, if those tips were beneficial to you, or if there are other things that you want us to know about. It's very dialogue, even though it's a podcast kind of show situation. So, yeah, if you check it out, let me know. But other than that, beautiful people, I appreciate you being here. Whenever you happen to be watching this, know that you took time for yourself today, that you are holding space for yourself today, and that in doing so, you are building and creating the life that you desire to live. And of course, I'm rooting for you. And if you need support, reach out. But I will see you all next week. Have a beautiful, wonderful, absolutely spectacular, and magical day. because you deserve it and you are worthy. See you next week. Bye. Yes, yes, yes. We'll see you next week, and I'll have the book, the lecture, I should say.